Yo, Tom, that was perfect timing today.
That did work out well today. That was it was good. It was good. I liked it.
I was sitting here, everything went black in front of me right before. I'm telling you, I couldn't get Clubhouse on. My computer was off, the whole thing black. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be interesting. And then all of a sudden, your beautiful face popped up there. Hey, my friend Brian P. Swift. My friend Brian just went under the knife. He's back, man. This guy's persistent as shit in everything that he does. This guy, he never goes small. He only goes big. So let's get him up here as well. So, okay, invite to speak, Brian Robert. Okay, let's talk. Okay, not the
I'm gonna go
smartest
ahead
guy
and
in
start
the room.
pinging. I'm just pinging some
Yeah,
folks in.
we'll talk to Brian for a minute, Tom, and you ping away. So this is not the smartest guys in the room. We do this every week. We live stream it. Tom sets us up with a beautiful live stream. He's very intelligent. So if anybody wants to know how to do that, back channel Tom, and he'll teach you the ways of the world. Um, I am a publisher of books and a storyteller, so I like to dig into the story, all the different ways that people tell stories, whether that's through video, through voice, through books. I'm in love with that process, the creative process, and I want to see people tell the best, most impactful stories. So and right up here on the stage right now, we got two great storytellers. So Brian, tell us a story about what you got going on and where you've been the last couple of days.
Oh, the story. Well, I had to go in for surgery on Monday, which was yesterday, and they had to remove what they thought was a 5 centimeter bladder stone from my bladder, but it ended up being a little over 7 centimeters, which, for those of you out there doing the conversion, is approximately the size of an egg. So it took a lot longer than they thought. They did release me, and last week I'd made my mind up. One day in surgery, one day to recoup, and then back on the horse Wednesday, and that's where I'm at. You know me, I can't stay down, and you could feel bad laying down, you could feel bad sitting up, you could be working through things laying down or working through things making progress. So I'm up. I plan on going to my radio show for those that are looking for inspiration or any type of knowledge and wisdom on our entrepreneurial journey that a lot of us are on. I do a radio show out of WJOL 1340 AM, which is out of the Chicagoland area, but it can be live streamed every Wednesday at 12:05 Central Standard Time till about 1 o'clock, and have some just fun guests on. Um, the range is incredible, from people that like Lou Holtz or Rudy Rudiker, Olympians, veterans that have remarkable stories. The TV specials were made of them. People from Lifetime, and then just people like you and me. And not that we're normal, but people that just every day have great stories, like you and Tom, and other people that join us in the room that just had made decisions to take their lives in a direction and then just chase it down regardless of whatever gets in their way. And thank God, a lot of us have been able to do that. I couldn't do it without the support of so many good people around me, you being one of them, Dom. Um, and we always seem to have a great clubhouse community. So that's where I'm at. We've got some people down here. Let's get to them, Dom. Thanks for the time. I'm complete.
Okay, Brian. No, we appreciate you, man. Always appreciate when you're here. I have one question that you have to clarify for me, though. You and a lot of people that you have on your show have overcome adversity. Is there one common theme that maybe the group could use? We're going through shit, beginning of the year, business is bad, you're not getting views, your book didn't sell, something went wrong. Is there any common theme that could help us get through those kind of things?
Wow, great question. And there is, you know, and it's not simple. The wording is simple. It's just don't quit. And I have a hat that on the front of it is the wording undaunted, which is a word you don't hear a lot. And I've been blessed. 90% of my achievements happened after I broke my neck at the age of 17 and became a quadriplegic. But I've been blessed to truly be undaunted, which, much like grit, is just this ability to keep in perspective the times you get knocked down, but always being able to rise and continue on that journey. Maybe it's having a great why, maybe it's having a great vision, but I think probably a lot of people in the room that we've talked to before, whether that's Dr. Tachi or Robert or definitely Tom, as he prepared for a marathon and got hurt, and you have been through so much, but you remain undaunted because of this, I don't know, vision, this drive, this why. And I've come to, I mean, one of the conclusions I've come to is a coach is that I'm seeing more people struggling with overcoming their failures. So it's not the lack of knowledge out there anymore that stops people from moving forward or succeeding. I think it's the inability to get up after they've been knocked down. And that's why I wrote the book, Developing True Grit, that came out a couple months ago, because I is an athletic coach for 22 years, two is a business strategist and personal coach, overcoming and getting back up after these after being knocked down and after, I don't want to call them failures, but after losses, failures, being knocked down. That is where I think there's a huge opportunity for people to grow. So that's something else I'm working on. But thank you for your time, Dom. I'm complete.
Hey, brother, man, we appreciate you. And we could all use a little motivation starting off our day, starting off our week. So I'm glad you kind of gave us a kick in the pants that we all need. So, hey, not the smartest guys in the room. Tom, we haven't heard from you. Then we got to meet our friend, Dr. Tachi and Robert, Emmy and Ching. So go on, Tom.
Thanks, Tom. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Not the Smartest Guys in the Room. You'll notice my voice. I've got my my radio voice going on today, and it's primarily because I didn't get enough sleep last night, and that's because I was at a networking event in New York City with some old colleagues from my days in the entertainment industry and television. And so I was literally burning the midnight oil, was up very late last night and did not get enough sleep. Still got out for my run this morning before we hopped on here. So proud of myself for that. But I am definitely going to hit a wall this afternoon. I can already feel it coming. But when we got on this morning, as Dom often does, he says, "What's on your mind? What do you got? What are you thinking about today?" And what I was thinking about on my run was I had an amazing meeting yesterday with an incredibly inspiring and accomplished person. And in that meeting, this individual essentially sort of gave me a kick in the butt that I needed. And so what I was thinking this morning was that we all need a kick in the butt from time to time. And we have to be, it's hard to do because sometimes you know, your tendency is you want to get defensive. You want to resist that. You want to try to explain why you're doing things a certain way or why you say things a certain way or how you frame things or whatever the case may be. But your tendency is to get defensive. But if you're open to getting that kick in the butt from the right person at the right time, it can be amazingly powerful and motivating. And that's what I had happen yesterday. You know, I had this amazing call, got motivated, got a kick in the butt, basically got pulled up short and told to cut it out and to kind of screw my head on straight and start doing things a little bit differently. And I was open and receptive to it. I then went to a networking event last night and I had somebody who used to be my boss actually asking me if I could make some time for them so they could talk to me and pick my brain, and telling me that they were inspired by my entrepreneurial journey that I've been on for the last few years. So yeah, sometimes you just need that kick in the butt, and that's kind of what I'm thinking about going into today is you have to be open to it, because when it comes, it can be really, really powerful. So I don't know. What do you
Tom,
think,
why
Tom?
why do some kick in the butts hurt so much? And you just, like you said, we put up a wall. Whoa, that guy said that. And sometimes you don't even see that. You don't know that what that guy, like, let's say, I think a guy said something to me 5 years ago and I was so pissed off at him, but maybe he said exactly everything I was at that moment. You know what I mean? And then sometimes somebody else kicks you in the butt and you're like, aha, epiphany. Yes, I'm going to go out tomorrow and do exactly what they said. Why is that? And so go on, Tom, and then we'll hit Brian because he flashed on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think, timing is everything. So I think it's two things. I think it has to come from the right person at the right time. But then also you have to be receptive to it. You have to be open and willing to take on board that kick in the butt. And look, like I'm not at all espousing, and this person was by no means rude or denigrating, or there was nothing negative about what happened in that conversation. It was all entirely positive. But it was a kick in the butt, right? It was, you're doing this wrong and you need to stop doing it because it's going to hamper your efforts in the long run. And I'm telling you right now, I've been down the road before you. I'm telling you right now, cut it out. And you have to be, I think it has to be the right person at the right time, but you also have to be willing to receive it. And delivery matters, right? So like, I know that when I've been in a management position and I've had to call people up and sort of address issues with their work and sometimes with their conduct and whatever, the best way to approach that, to sort of break down that defensiveness, has always been to do it with a positive spin, that like, I'm doing this because I want the best for you, right? And so in order for you to get the best, the only way I can help you, or the best way for me to help you, is to call you on your bullshit, basically, right? It has to be done in a positive way. I think that's sort of the key to breaking down that sort of defensive instinct, is if you approach somebody with the understanding and make it clear to them from jump that you are calling them out because you want the best for them, then it creates opportunity for them to be receptive and for them to actually achieve what you're hoping for them. I think. I mean, it's nuanced, right? There's no like sort of easy answer, but I think those are the things that pop to my head that contribute most to a successful kick in the butt versus an unsuccessful kick in the butt, so to speak.
Okay, good stuff. I think I shared the room and I put like, I don't know, it says something about kicking the butt. So maybe we'll get some people. We're either going to have nobody come in. Well, why do I want to talk about getting kicked in the butt? Or maybe we'll have a few people. Hey, Brian,
Or they're
Tom.
going to think we're talking about that 90s show and on Netflix, the reboot of that 70s show, and Red, the father from that 70s show. If anybody remembers or anybody watched that show, he was always talking about putting his foot in Eric's ass. So they're going to think we're talking about that.
It could be. Okay, Swift, you had something to say on that. Go ahead, and then we'll hit Dr. Tachi.
No, I agree with Tom. And putting your foot up somebody's ass is not always the wrong thing. It just become politically not favorable to say, but that's where our country's kind of gone weak. That being said, Tom, I agree with, you've got to be ready to hear it. And for some people, there is no right time. And your second point is it's how you present it. Because I'm working with a young gal who I've told it's okay to fail. She's a new entrepreneur, but I redefine what failure is. And she comes from a background where, like, her parents were in a profession that like there was no failing. It was kind of one of those things that you could do with, I don't want to say without failing, but primarily. And as an entrepreneur, you've got to be understanding that you probably will fail at certain things. But again, I changed it. I shouldn't say I changed the definition of failure. I'm a John Maxwell protege, and I'm a believer in sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. And as long as you're learning from failure or getting beaten, they're not failure, or it's not losing. Just because you lose doesn't make you a loser. And it truly is a mindset. And some people haven't crossed that bridge and aren't ready to hear it. It's like coaching somebody that doesn't really want to be coached. They say they do, but they really don't. And you care more than they care. The timing's just not there yet. So I love the name of the room. It's a great topic. Thanks for the time. I'm complete.
All right, let's do this. Thank you, Brian. Thanks for the kick in the pants. Tom, kick in the pants, kick in the butt. Okay, not the smartest guys in the room. We are talking getting kicked in the butt. Something I want to talk to you guys about today is reels and shorts. I'm in love right now with shorts. It was our friend Hoot, and Hoot stops by here once in a while. Hoot said to me the other day, he said, how come every video you've ever made isn't a short? How come every short video you've ever shared somewhere isn't a short? And I'm like, who has time for that? I didn't even think about it. What are you even talking about? But then as I thought about it, here you have a database of, let's say 100 videos, 1,000 videos that are shorts that you've been putting on Reels. You've been putting on TikTok. You've been putting on TikTok. You've been putting on Reels. You shared wherever, but you haven't put them on your YouTube in your shorts. So I did it. I did it with 5 videos. And I started doing it. I took 5 out of the thing. And in 5 days, the combination had 5,000 views. And like we talked, views isn't the best thing. Views isn't that. But I also saw my follower count go up on my YouTube channel. And I also saw that some of the videos that maybe I believed in, or the longer form videos, were also watched by those probably some of the people who checked out the shorts. So is it an opportunity? But not the smartest guys in the room, kicking the pants, anything. If you want to ask a question about media or publishing or Reels, whatever, podcasting, we have the experts in this room. Speaking of an expert, one of my favorite people, I've been watching her be more in her. You've been in the car lately, Dr. Tachi. So what do you got going on? What kind of advice, questions you got today, Dr. Tachi?
Hey there. Yes, good morning, everyone. Yes, I have been in the car lately. For some reason, because I go to the post office almost on a daily basis to drop off packages. And I've been like, okay, I have something to say. I might as well do it. And here's the thing. I don't really like car videos so much. I'm the type of person that, uh, obviously coming from a production background, I feel like I need to be set somewhere in order to say what I have to say. But I've kind of obviously shifted, and it's like if you have something to say and you don't want to forget it and you're in the moment, do it wherever you are. The thing is, carry things with you that will accommodate, do it wherever you are. So after a while, the shaky video is not going to be cute. So either learn to prop it up on your steering wheel, get a something like a Gorilla Pod that has a Joby Gorilla Pod that kind of has tentacles and legs that you can wrap around something. So you can always do things from where you are, just get things that will accommodate that. And that's what I've learned, and is my advice to you all today.
Dr. Tachi, I love that. Tom's shaking his head. And I think a lot of us have this paralysis where we want to produce, or we want to overproduce, underproduce, and then we get scared and then we don't do anything. Tom, you were shaking your head. So what are your thoughts on all that?
Yeah, I mean, look, the only way to get anywhere is to start moving, right? So you have to take steps, and they don't have to be big steps. You don't, I think the paralysis thing, I think, often comes in when you look at the goal, right? When you look at the end goal first, and you don't look for opportunities to take the first step towards that goal. right? It's that metaphor of climbing a mountain. Like, how do you climb a mountain? Like, one step at a time. Like, how do you walk a mile one step at a time? Like, whatever the case may be, like if you stood at the bottom of the mountain and looked up at the summit and tried to figure out how to get there all in one go or all at once, you'd never be able to get there, right? You just have to start moving. So I think it's incredibly important that you just get going, right? We've talked about that before. Get your camera out, point it at yourself, practice, film yourself. You don't even have to post stuff to begin with, right? But just put in the work, start doing the reps, right? Start building that habit and building that experience, and get comfortable being uncomfortable. If you're uncomfortable on camera, I am self-conscious every single time I'm on camera. Right now, I'm self-conscious. I'm on camera right now. I'm being live streamed all over the internet. I'm doing it to myself. So like, I have no one to blame, right? But I'm self-conscious. I'm self-conscious every time there's a camera pointed at me. The trick is I've done it so much that I'm comfortable being uncomfortable. I have in the sort of more clinical psychological framework, what you would say is I've habituated myself to the behavior, right? I've made the behavior so frequent and so common that it's like tying my shoes, right? It's just something I do. And whether I like it or not, I do it all the time. I do it every day. And so it gets easier over time. But that's the thing, is you just have to get moving in order to get anywhere, right? You never will get anywhere if you don't move. So like, just start taking steps, and they're not always going to be in the right direction. And that's okay. Just start taking steps, start moving, right? And start making progress, and you'll find a good path as you move, right? Allow yourself to kind of gain momentum. So
Is there a point where we're sitting there, like Dr. Tachi has that video ready to, she has something that she needs to say right then. And I've been there 1,000 times. That fear happens all the time where you're like, nope, I'm not going to do it because the shirt I have on, this shirt's lame. I was on a call yesterday and I'm like, I got to go put on a hat first before I get on the call. Like, is there a point where we should just wait, or is it go for it? You got the message, turn that camera around, go for it.
I mean, look, is there, I have no way to answer that question without context, right? So like, in contextualized within circumstance, are there times where you should wait to do something and other times where you should just get up and go? Absolutely. But broadly speaking, if I'm going to make a gross generalization and paint with a very broad brush, you should always be moving forward. Unquestionably, right? You should always be moving forward. So are there times where you should like delay doing something or plan something out a little bit more in advance and like push it back a week or two or whatever? Yes. But broadly speaking, you should always be moving forwards. So it's the best way I can answer that question, because without like context in a specific situation, it's hard to say. But yeah, I think broadly speaking, you should always just be moving forward. So that's the question you need to ask yourself: is, am I moving forward?
Go on.
Dr.
Okay.
Tachi,
Dr. Tachi, go on.
Yeah, I would agree. It's dependent upon context, on situation. I can tell you what I do. So if I, again, not being the hugest fan of car videos, but then saying, okay, no, well, I want to do it and I want to show people that it's okay to do it where you are. So you do it. But sometimes those are going to be just one part of a larger situation, meaning I'm going to do another video, longer video, more polished video later. And I just wanted to take this one concept out of it and share it. Now, that's great if you're something like you want to share it as a short on YouTube, so it gives you more content as well. But often some of the things I'm talking about are going to be part of, it's just part of the bigger picture. It's going to be part of a longer, more polished video later. And that doesn't always have to be the case for everybody. But I think, to your point, Dominic, if it's something that you want to expand upon later, you definitely can do that. but you could get the idea out now. You could tease people with that idea. It also makes a great teaser. And you can even say, we're going to talk more about this in another video, but I just wanted to drop this one little piece for you to chew on while you're waiting for that. So it can be whatever you want it to be.
Truth, Dr. Tachi, love it. And as a publisher of books or as somebody encouraging my authors to go on podcasts and things like this, I love the idea of not telling the whole story, teasing the story, telling a part of the story, giving a little taste, a little crumb, so that later on you can share more of the story, develop more of the story, but that okay, now I'm going to give you the story for 10 seconds on Instagram, or then 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 40 seconds. I always tell people, if you can't do 30 seconds, how are you going to do a 20-minute video? I'll talk to people that are like, I want to speak, I want to go on a speaking tour. Well, that sounds awesome. And then they can't make a 20-second video on their subject. And I'm like, maybe we should start with a 20-second video, and that might be a good first step before you start booking your national tour. Go on, Tom.
I was going to say, I would go the opposite direction personally.
Book the tour.
No, not do the tour first. I would encourage people to create longer content first. I think longer content is actually easier than shorter content, which is counterintuitive, but concise messaging is really challenging. Conveying a message like coherently in 20 seconds is much harder than a minute or 2 minutes or 3 minutes, right? So I would encourage people to actually make longer content first. And here's the beauty of doing that is it also can serve you. If you create longer content, you can then, and we know how I feel about this, you can then take that longer content and repackage and repurpose it into shorter form content. So you can make 60-second reels out of that longer form content. And now guess what? You've got long form content and you've got short form content, and you didn't have to do it all twice, right? And so that's one of the dangers I see and one of the things I often counsel businesses against is chasing like short form social media content, because it's a bit of a hamster wheel, right? If you want to make a short form piece of content, it's going to be pretty costly to do, right? For the duration of that video, for that short form piece of content, per piece of content, it's going to be kind of expensive. And the trick is that you have to generate a high volume of it to actually sort of get any sort of penetration and garner any viewership and audience and reach your community with that messaging and with that content. So it becomes a really expensive proposition, which is part of the reason why a lot of brands and businesses are very late to the game, especially in the small business world, are late to the game when it comes to video, because they're like, we can't afford to do that. And the shortcut, the cheat for that is make longer form content, and then for a fraction of the cost, repackage and repurpose it into short form content and generate a high volume out of it, right? Like that's the cheat code, is instead of creating 1,000 30-second videos, make 100 10-minute videos and turn them into 1,000 30-second videos.
Tom, I just want to add to Tom. I agree. That is typically the way that I would do things. But I think you're using Tom logic here, and then hear me out. Somebody who's already apprehensive about making video can't see. Let me make a 5-minute video, but they may be comfortable with 30 seconds. They may be comfortable with 1 minute. So maybe they can work themselves up to that point, but for somebody starting, and not talking about somebody who already has a clear sense or grasp of video, maybe that's all they can do. So I'm like, instead of waiting to say, well, let me wait to make that 5-minute video, and they're not comfortable, if you can do 30 seconds, do that. And then you can go backwards. So sometimes it's worth, depending on who you are, it's worth it to go backwards, right? To start. And then you can actually, maybe if you have a theme, maybe you can stitch those together and those become scenes. So it just really depends on the type of person you are. But some people can't get to that 5 minutes yet. Some people can't get to 2 minutes, but they can do 30 seconds.
And I just wanted to add, it also depends on the industry, because, I make long form video for my micro podcast and then I just chop it up. And yes, that's easier for me. But then if you're, I don't know, in the real estate industry or the hospitality industry, you may need those short form trending videos to gain reach and reach more people, but then utilize longer form to talk to your already existing followers. So it just depends on the industry. And yeah, I'm just going to say that.
Well, I got a question then for Heather. Why are those things so when you talk about real estate or hospitality, why are those things mutually exclusive? Why are short form and long form content mutually exclusive? Why can't you dual purpose those? Like what's your thinking there? I'm curious.
Well, I mean, so let's say, and a lot of times in real estate and, restaurants, so that's my zone of genius, but they can get that long form video, but then they go to a professional videographer, and that professional videographer may not be recording in vertical form. He may be recording in horizontal. So then, it makes it harder for somebody like myself to chop up that stuff into short form video. It takes longer. So sometimes the long form can actually be a hindrance to the short form because of the specific way that they're recording. And then also, like, trends are a great way to get more eyeballs because you're reaching a new audience that hasn't seen you before, instead of just taking that long form video of a video of a tour of your restaurant from the front of the house to the back of the house, whatever. It's easier sometimes to just take already original content or photos or other short form videos in vertical format and then just repurpose those into other videos, instead of taking long form, which is usually videoed in horizontal, then turning that into vertical, making sure that everything is centered, and then trying to figure out your own trend. And it's a lot. So we do that, I'll take the video that was created from a videographer and I'll chop that up and I'll find some trending music and I'll put that long form video in vertical format to trending music, and then kind of twist and try to do something with it, like whatever that may look like. But then sometimes it's easier for me just to find a trending audio with a trending template and use content I already have. And then boom, I've made a video in a minute. And I can put it out on my client's stuff. So, I mean, I guess it just depends, like I said, per industry, I think, but that is just my opinion.
Gotcha. No, I think that makes sense if you're doing it at the same time. Like if you're there filming longer form content and at the same time you also like capture short form content. What I am always trying to counsel people against is just focusing on, because it happens all the time. I get businesses like solely focusing on short form content, right? I talk to people all the time. They're like, I don't even want to, like, they're not even thinking about making anything longer than like 90 seconds. Like everything is 90 seconds or less. They're like, because that's all people will watch. And I'm like, not true at all. So I totally agree with you. I think if you're creating purpose-built
and let
content,
me just say, Tom, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, a lot of the longer form content requires somebody, not just me. I can't be that voice or that face on that long form content for that client. So I pitched, and this is when I started with a gastro pub. They have 6 locations across Delaware and Pennsylvania. I pitched them. I was like, guys, because their name, I'm just going to tell you the names. Two Stones Pub. I've been with them for a minute. I pitched to them some long form video, and it was going to be, I don't know if you guys watch Between the Ferns. That is like hysterical. So funny. But I pitched them back in the day when it was super hot. I was like, we should do Between Two Stones because it's Two Stones Pub. So Between Two Stones. And we were going to get a chef, be hilarious and just sit there and interview, the regulars that come in, have somebody sit and it was, we were almost there, but the people who own the place did not have the time. They didn't have the time because they were, back of house, front of house, expanding, running a brewery as well. They don't have the time to sit there and get recorded for long form copy. They're in the weeds, they're in the trenches. It's the restaurant industry. So, and I can't do that because I don't want to be the face to their brand. So it's a fine line that you have to cross, like you have to walk, because yeah, we do want long form copy and we can get that. Like we did a live podcast on location at one of their locations where they had outdoor dining, and we set it up out there, and I was able to, so we got the horizontal from the podcast itself, which they recorded in horizontal. So that was more difficult for me to edit things because we had 5 people up on stage. But if I crop it to vertical, I can only fit 2 people. And then I recorded Instagram and Facebook Live simultaneously in vertical format. So then I was able to use that vertical format from the live and chop it up. So yeah, it just, again, you just have to think about like getting the content in the correct vertical, in my opinion, because it's so hard for me to chop up vertical stuff with horizontal long form. And then if I don't even have the long form because the owners and the operators don't want to get in front of it because they're behind the scenes and they want to keep it that way, then like it's more of a short form strategy, because that's easier, because it's easier to make short form content without a face to the brand than it is to make long form content with a face to the brand. So that's where I'm at. Seriously, like this is my conundrum all the time. I'm like, I want long form, but they cannot provide me long form because they have to be in that long form. And, restaurant walkthroughs will only get you so far.
I mean, restaurant walkthroughs won't get you very far at all, in my opinion. I've seen, I don't know how many restaurant tour videos I've seen pop up, and they are a dime a dozen. It's the same with like real estate tour videos where it's just B-roll with like maybe some cheesy music, and yeah, they're a waste of time and money. Nobody really watches them. Nobody really cares. Sorry, but that's the truth.
So true.
Yeah, but the businesses love it, right? Ultimately, I think the question is, and like the question I would turn around, and again, I tend to be very frank with both my clients and with the people I interact with. So maybe this is not your style, but this would be my style. Is I would turn around to those owners and I would say, look, guys, you want to continue growing this business. We have to continue growing content. We have to market this business. If you want to sustain this growth in the long term. And so you got to be a part of this. Figure it out. We have to figure it out. It's not, you can't just say, I don't have time. We got to make time. It has to be a priority. So like, let's figure out how we're going to do it. Not we're too busy, like, because that's an excuse. So if you don't want to be in it, that's fine. Let's figure out who is going to be in it. Right. Because it's not going to be me. But like, that's how I would handle it. I'd be like, look, you got to make a decision. Right. One way or the other. I'm telling you what's going to work best for you. Take my advice or don't, right? But don't make excuses to me, because excuses are like something we all have, to put it frankly. But yeah, I don't know. That's my thought. Let's keep moving though. I want to meet Robert. I don't know, Robert. Have we? I don't know that we've met before. Welcome.
No, I've never come up and talked.
Cool. Well, welcome,
I've been in
man.
your room.
You have a question? Want to drop a tip? What's on your mind?
No, I just I wanted to thank Julie, but she left. She was listening before. I'm a rookie podcaster, so I just wanted to say thank you for the room. I wanted to ask Brian for the name of his book, just because I've been off topic. I've been dealing with a quadriplegic for a few years, and I always try to kind of boost him up. So I was thinking maybe his book might be of help to me. But yeah, I've been bouncing around the idea for a long time to do something. We have like a little online Bible study, like not making any money or anything like that, but I've had all these recordings for a very long time that I always wanted to do something with. And I was talking to a few people on here that I've come to meet over the last year, and they introduced me to Julie. And people were saying, "Oh, go on YouTube and get programs to add visual effects to your audios, and it's free, and so on and so forth." So, been bouncing around a couple of ideas, but I do work full time. But I've been off for the last couple of weeks, and I had a little conversation with Julie a couple of weeks back, and she's like, "If you've got material, just put it out there." But I was like, "But it's not really like super professional quality. It's just like recorded off of an iPhone." She's like, "Who cares? Just get it out there and get started." So she gave me, like you guys were talking about, the kick in the butt, so to speak. And yeah, I listened to her, and this week I got on Pincast and started a little podcast for some of the material that I wanted to put out there as an easy place to share this information with people. So thank you for the room and the platform, and that's about it. I'm just listening because I'm a rookie and I don't know anything. So
Thanks, Robert. So I would encourage you, if you're putting out podcast content of any kind, I would encourage you to look in, even if you're recording on your iPhone, that's totally fine. But I would encourage you to look into spending just a couple of bucks on a microphone. And that's really, at the end of the day, it's an audio medium. And I know personally, and I've talked to other people who agree with me on this. If I turn on a podcast and it sounds like somebody's talking across the room on speakerphone, I immediately turn it off. I'm never going to listen to an audio format that isn't easy to listen to. So I would just encourage you, if you're going to create podcast content, do a little bit of research, spend a couple of bucks. And if you want to back channel me and ask for any specific suggestions for iPhone microphones or anything like that. But yeah, spend $50 and get yourself a little microphone, because if you're going into an audio format, people expect the audio to be decent, right? It doesn't have to be studio quality, but it has to be decent. It has to be pleasant and easy to listen to. So that would be my advice on that. But thanks for coming in the room. Appreciate it, man. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, man, we appreciate it, Robert. I threw the link for Brian P. Swift's Developing True Grit up in the top. He also has the book The Quad Father. He has actually children's books and stuff too. I think it's Have a Ball. So check him out. He's a great resource for that type of thing, and just motivation in general. We started the room today with kicks in the butt. That's where we were going. We were talking about, is it, sometimes we get kicked in the butt by somebody. Sometimes it hurts. Sometimes you're like, yeah, that was spot on. So, but something that our friend just mentioned, Robert, one of the things that we love about this room, Robert, is if you're just starting a podcast or you're nationally syndicated, you're welcome here, man. And we're learning both ways, whether you sold 4 million books like our friend Robert Lozier, or you're considering writing a book, man. You are always welcome here, and we learn from each person, and there's something to be gained by having an open conversation. So anytime, stop back. And we love Julie. Julie's always through here. She's one of our favorite people. So we will send your kind words to her as well. So let's see. I got my thing all screwed up here. So, but here's where we're going. Not the smartest guys in the room. We got Prof T up, and Prof T, you know what we're doing here. So Prof T, you're up, and we're going to meet Emmy and Ching, our buddy Aaron, James from across the pond. What's up, James? Joyce, how you doing? If anybody wants to come up and talk, I try to invite people up, but sometimes I miss, or sometimes they come on and I'm in the middle of the most profound thing that you guys have ever heard, or I'm trying to plug something that I really wanted to plug. No, that doesn't happen, but there could be a reason where I forget to pull somebody up, or I'm not looking at the screen, or I'm just falling in love with Tom's beautiful eyes when we're looking at the live stream here. I feel like I gotta get close. What are Tom's eyes brown? I think they're brown. Yeah.
They're
right?
actually I don't know if there's I know there's a word for it. I don't know what it is, but they're brown around the outside, and then as you get in close to the iris, they're actually green.
Yeah.
Hazel.
Yeah, it's interesting because I'm looking at him and I think that's the same eye I have. And when I'm trying to describe it, I'm like, maybe
I think they call it hazel.
there we go. Hazel. We're learning something. Okay, Prof T.
My name's Tom. Stop calling me Hazel.
Oh, there we go. Hey.
And I just want to know, is Dom actually wearing shorts? Is that what we're talking about? I got lost somewhere. Is he talking about wearing shorts during the videoing? I'm confused.
I don't know what he's talking about. Move on. Prof T, what do you got for us?
Good morning. Let me clear out my head here because everybody's going in so many different directions. So let me figure out where I am. In the room with not the smartest guys in the room, but again, you guys are the smartest guys in the room. So a couple things I was listening to. I just want to quickly. You had mentioned somebody who sold millions of books, Robert Lozier. Did you mean Michael? So yeah,
Yes, I did. Who's
Okay.
Who's Robert? I mean, Michael Lozier. He was here earlier. I'm going to have
Yeah.
to crop the replay. Thanks, Prof T.
Yeah, just wanted to, in case somebody was looking them up. So, and then I did see Julie and Jess. I don't know where they went. But listen, you know what? I love this topic. Two things I'm going to say real quick. Again, this is Teresa Agustinelli, Prof T from Philly. And so, as far as kicking somebody in the butt, I always joke with my clients and I'm like, do you have a big butt? Because we all have a butt. Oh, I was going to do this butt. Oh, I was going to have that butt. Oh, I really wanted to do this butt. So when you have a big butt, you really gotta look inside yourself. And for me, when I'm working with somebody, I'm on the other side of the table, being the counselee or the client, because Prof T has coaches and mentors and financial advisors and business advisors, and I don't want somebody. Um, consoling me too much. I want a kick in the butt because I want to grow and I want to be with people that cause me to grow. And I tell a lot of my clients, if you want somebody to commiserate with, you call your mom. Moms are good at that. So, with that said, number one, I prefer to have people who are going to kick butt with me and for me and tell me how to be. And I'm not just here to suck up like a tick. I'm here to grow and learn so that I can take what I learn to the people that I'm serving. That's what I think it's all about. And then secondly, as far as microphones, Tom, you hit the nail on the head. I bought a microphone for when I'm doing I don't do podcasts, I go on them, or my Zooms, or doing my 2 minutes with Teresa little things, and I'll land with this. I don't want to hog up your mic. But I did find a microphone is extremely important. I saw the difference. And with that, I bought it. I think it's called a Moana. Um, and it was very inexpensive, 50, 60 something dollars. And it's really made a difference. And I look back on some of the things I recorded in some of the podcasts or radios that I was on, and I'm like, oh my gosh, totally does have an effect, because to me, it's wow, just in and out. It's cutting and sometimes sounds like it's in a Dixie cup or an air tunnel. So can't say enough about having good instruments if you want to make a difference. Thanks. Prof T, over to you. Thanks, Dominic. Thanks, Tom. Hi, Brian. Good to see you, my friend. And Heather. Dr.
Hello.
Tucker. Oh, my goodness.
100% Prof T. Thanks for mentioning your experience with buying that microphone. And I would just say to anybody listening now, live stream, in the future, on replays, whatever the case may be, we all walk around with a tremendous resource in our pockets, or in our bags with us almost all the time, which is our phones and the internet and their access to the internet. So use the internet, do a little bit of research. It's as simple as searching for introductory or starter podcast microphones, and you will find a host of information, including not just lists of those microphones, but also reviews of those microphones done by third-party people. So like get out on YouTube, do a little Google research, and pick a microphone that'll work for you. It can be absolutely transformative when it comes to creating content. So for sure that's my advice there. But thanks for mentioning that, Prof T. Appreciate it. What do you think, Dom?
All right, good. I'm enjoying the conversation, man. You guys are killing it. Not the smartest guys in the room. We do this room every Wednesday. We even have a club. I think, is that what it's called? A club where I think if you join the club, you get pinged when we set up the rooms. Sometimes I set them 30 days in advance and I'm real on it. Sometimes I do it about 2 hours before because I completely dropped the ball. So don't hold it against me. But okay, we're trying. Emmy, man, you got a question for us or a tip on any of this stuff? Go on, my friend.
Hey Dom, hey Tom, good to be here in the room. Thanks for having, and happy Clubhouse anniversary, man. Just saw the red balloon. 2 years. It's
Yeah,
that's a
2
long
years,
time.
booyah. And I would say to anybody that let's say you don't, because we live stream this too. Let's say you don't believe in social audio. Well, what is this thing? What's going on here? Give it a try. My friend Neil, who I got me on Clubhouse early on, was a big believer in room surfing, meaning jump on, listen to the conversation. You like it, check somebody out. You like it, jump in their room again. But I do believe that this form of audio, will it be here or somewhere else, but I believe in this form of audio. It's just another great place to share your story. So thank you for the celebratory 2 years. Whoop, whoop. Okay, Emmy, go on, my friend.
For sure. No, I just love the conversation every time I check it out, and appreciate being here. I mean, definitely agree with the topic about getting our butts kicked, because I think we all every now and then we need it sometimes. And I liked what Tom was saying about um, recognizing when you feel defensive, because I think that's kind of a moment, a signal, that life's trying to teach you something, and if you don't listen, you're going to keep getting your butt kicked. So it's just reminds me of that saying of checking yourself before you wreck yourself. You have to always be mindful of like what you're experiencing, and what that lesson is. So I loved it. And it just reminded me of like when you get to these tough moments. I was reading a book by David Goggins, his latest book. There's a chapter he's talking about like you need a foxhole buddy. Like when you're in this foxhole, um, it's tough. You need somebody who's got your back. And sometimes if you're in there by yourself, you just have to tough it out and stick through it, because the end will come. And you just have to just keep pressing no matter what it is. So I love the conversation. And real quick, just I don't produce video, but I was listening to what everybody's talking about, like whether it's long form, short form video, from a just a viewer perspective. I think it really doesn't matter, whether it's long or short, because I think it's just it has to be long enough to get your message across. And so it's only too long, if it's a boring video, or if like any kind of copy, whether it's video or email, it's got to be something relevant to the viewer, to the reader. And when we're talking about social media platforms, whether it's Instagram, Reels, anything like that, you gotta figure out what the algorithm wants, and those are like a black box. And so as a creator, you gotta experiment, see what works, pay attention to the numbers, and how engaged it is, and just kind of take that as a signal and just go with it, because it's yeah, a lot of, I think, I think Heather was talking about, like or Dr. Sachi, like if you some of those videos that the business owners are like, it feeds the ego, because I want to show off my restaurant or this house and stuff. But if the audience isn't really engaged in it, then it's you're wasting time. But anyway, appreciate the chance to share and speak, and love the room, and thank you for talking about your book, Brian. I'm glad, because I was going to ask if if it wasn't asked, but thanks for putting the link. I'll check it out too. So thanks so much, guys. Hope you guys have a great day.
I want to jump in real quick, Tom, if I can. I'm gonna agree with you on one thing you said, Emmy, and take it a step further, and then I'm gonna push back on you on something else, if I can. And so what I want to agree with you on is that content can be long form, can be short form. Ultimately, it has to be good at delivering a message, and it has to keep the viewers engaged. What I would go a step further on with that is that the length of the content is really more platform dependent than anything else. Yes, the content has to be engaging. It has to be good. It has to be quality, right? It has to deliver value to the audience or else people aren't going to watch. But in terms of determining the actual length of the content, that's much more about the platform that you're putting the content on than it is about the content itself. So like when you're looking at Facebook, like nobody goes to Facebook to watch a 10-minute video. That's not the expectation. So people don't do it. So you put a 10-minute video on Facebook and it won't perform very well, right? Because that's not what people go to Facebook for. The flip side of that is if you put a 10-minute video on YouTube, people will watch it. People go and will watch 10, 20. I think the best performing duration of video on YouTube is like 17 minutes. So like people will watch 10 to 20 minute long videos on YouTube all day long, like one after the other, right? So it's just all about platform when it comes to determining what duration is the proper duration for where you are. If it's, you're taking for granted that the content is of quality, right? And then the thing I wanted to push back on was the algorithm. I would tell, like, here's my thoughts. Not a fan. And I want to tell people all the time, stop chasing the algorithm. The algorithm on every social media platform, they all do it a little bit differently, but they're all designed to do the same thing. And that thing is to keep you on that platform and engaged with that platform as long as possible. Period. End of story. Like that is what every single social media algorithm is designed to do, because that's how social media platforms make their money, right? They make it through selling your attention. You are the commodity, right? That's why it's free. If it's free to you, to the user, that means that you are the commodity, not the customer, right? You're not the customer. The customer are the advertisers that pay for your attention, right? So just remember that the algorithms are all designed to do that. So don't make content for the algorithm, make content for your audience. Make content that delivers value to the community that you want to serve. That should be the primary focus of your content. Forget about the algorithms. You're never going to crack them. Nobody ever is, unless you have super secret access at Meta or something like that. But otherwise, forget about the algorithms. They're all designed to do the same thing. That's to keep you on the platform because you're the commodity. Your attention is the commodity. So forget about them. Make content that delivers value to your community. That should be the focus. And I'm getting down.
And I
off my
wanted to say one
soapbox.
more thing.
Hold on,
about
Heather. Hold on one sec. Okay, we'll hit Heather. I'm gonna quit saying hit. We will go to Heather, and then Emmy had a reply as well. Go on, Heather.
I just wanted to say, and the algorithm isn't even really an algorithm, because TikTok just came out and said there's a thing called heating, quote unquote heating, which means that TikTok employees actually push specific videos because they are courting specific content creators and are getting specific content creators to go viral so that they will work with TikTok. So just make content for your audience, make content for the internet.
Emmy, go on. You flashed there for a sec. Go on.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I think you're spot on, Tom. And I would go even one level further. Is just that, yes, the algorithm is what drives the which pieces of video, which reel, which whatever it is, doesn't have to be video, which one goes viral. But I would just take it a step further and just say, these platforms are all rented land. We're building an audience on these, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. At the end of the day, like you said, the audience is owned by those platforms, and you're just kind of getting the whatever you call it. Yeah, for lack of better thing, the privilege, just the just being present on them. It's just that's your that's our gateway to the audience. But if you can't have another way of access, reaching your audience, whether it's taking them off of the platform and say, come to my website, join my mailing list, whatever it is that it's you're at the mercy of those platforms. And so whatever the algorithms, they can be, they can punish you at any day on a whim. And so that's just kind of the risk that I think a lot of creators take when they're so dependent on the platform. So I agree with everything you said, but I would just kind of take it another step forward and just like say, yeah, those platforms, like you said, we're all, we're on Clubhouse. Our data is being generated here, but we don't get to monetize any of that. And so I think that's just kind of another step. So awesome points.
Hey, thank you. I'm enjoying the conversation. You guys are killing it. I just wanted to jump in on. It isn't the worst idea to have if you have content, to have a basic understanding of one, like Tom said, the platform. What's the platform looking for? You can't even put certain long form video on certain sites, so it would be silly to. So understanding, what content that I have fits what they are looking for, and then placing that content in the right place. Now, I wanted to throw a real wrench in everybody's. And this is different though. A picture can say 1,000 words, maybe more. So I would go. We could post a picture of, let's say, the tank. Was it the tank in Japan where the one person stood up to the tank? And this is a picture with no words, speaks for 60 years or 50 years, where you can say this image, wherever you put this on, speaks to an audience. For instance, maybe the right book cover or something like that. That image, sharing just that image, says it. Or that picture of or a 3-second video of the little white kid and the little black kid running down the street and hugging each other, and everybody knows that this is a video of unity. You don't need any words or thoughts or anything behind it. It's that simple. So my point here is, sometimes we overcomplicate the hell out of it all. You have that story is so simple. Just get out there and share it. Okay, so that was the wrench. Sorry. Now we will go to one of our storytellers, not the smartest guys in the room. We will go to Ching. Ching, what's happening?
Hello, hi, Dominick. Nice to hear your voice. Hi, Tom. Hi, everybody. What's happening? I'm kind of learning every day. Oh, why I might have a red bar. Can you hear me?
You sound
Hello?
angelic. Go on, Ching.
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah. I'm learning every day. I do different things. I just want to share with you. I do long form. I made a documentary for 90 minutes. Right now it's on Tubi TV. My Langan diary. You can check my what do you call bio here. And on YouTube, I have been doing kind of very differently with other people. Like people say you have to do one niche. I don't have one niche. I have many niches. So I just combine them all together. You can tell me I'm doing something wrong. So on my YouTube channel, Jewel Media, I will post short videos. I also started to do what do you call YouTube Shorts, and it's another learning curve because my brain just not set that way. So I have to force myself when I go out to shoot events. I have to say, okay, I'm going to do a vertical now, just for Instagram or any shorts. Then I go back to my horizontal way of filming, right? And then after a while, I said, okay, I had to remind myself. So it's a lot of work, but I think I can get used to that. And so my question for you guys is, uh, should I, when I do now YouTube Shorts, right? I'm thinking, should I just nail on one niche, which is music. I'm a musician. I'm a concert violist. I teach music, teach violin. So on TikTok for last year, I started a little bit. Is I just do music, just talk about how to play the violin, show people the instrument. I video people playing on the street. So everything has to do with music. So I'm curious if I should just do that, or should I just go all over the place, talk about video, talk about movie, talk about whatever. What do you think, Dominic and Tom and everybody?
I'm going to let Tom tackle it first. Go on, Tom.
All right. So here's what I would suggest. I think it is good to stick to a topic on a particular channel, right? Because you set expectations for your audience and then deliver on those expectations when you create music-centered content, viola-centered content, on your TikTok channel. Then people go to that channel. People who subscribe expect to see that content. You fulfill that expectation. It builds trust over time. You build your audience grows, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it's good to do that. That doesn't mean that you can't make other stuff. I think one of the ways that I see a lot of creators kind of tackle this problem is simply by creating other channels, right? And then you create another channel, say on TikTok, another profile, another channel where you create content about your filmmaking, right? And you direct audience from your viola channel over here, right? You stitch videos one for the other, and you kind of help people cross pollinate and find your other channels that way. So that's one of the ways that I've seen. Almost think about it like you're building. Think about it kind of like analogous to like you're building your own sort of like cable network, right? And so like on one channel, like is Food Network, and that's where you do all your food content, right? And then on another channel is MTV, and that's where you do all your music content, right? And then on another channel is Bravo, where you fight with your friends or whatever the case may be, right? So like just think about creating different profiles and different channels for different styles of content that you want to create, rather than kind of piling everything into one channel, and kind of confusing your audience. So that would be my suggestion there to overcome that obstacle. Hope that helps.
Thanks, Tom.
Hey, let's do this, because we had differing views earlier on forms of like short form versus long form, and there's sometimes wisdom on both sides. So now I wonder, Tom used the example MTV. MTV has, I watch some shows about, they might have music on it still, but is there a larger brand that can a larger brand have silos under it where people would understand, Ching, that this is a silo of MTV? So MTV has those challenges. MTV has the show Ghosted. MTV has Ridiculousness. MTV still has Unplugged. And people I don't go on MTV now. In when they first had Jersey Shore, I might have been like, where's my music videos? I miss them. But I don't think people go on MTV at this point and are like, why isn't there music videos on 24/7 anymore? So I wonder if there was an explainable connection between all things. Because I wonder sometimes, like, why I'm the other way on this is sometimes an author of mine will set their whole brand up around the book. And like when they're just starting off, they set their whole brand up around the book. And like Robert Kiyosaki or something, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he's made a whole career on Rich Dad, Poor Dad. But somebody else, you may write about different things later on, and you may get into this subject or that subject. So do you really want to set your whole brand up around one thing when maybe the Ching brand is Ching does all these things? So I don't know. Because I worry that once you start setting up multiple channels and this and that, are you going to give them the love that they deserve? Now, that being said, I got 50 different pages on Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that because some of the pages don't apply. So I'm all over the place on this answer, but I wanted you to think about those as well. Go on, Ching.
Oh, thank you, Dominic. Thank you, Tom. Yeah, I kind of understand. It should be one topic. Like people do gardening, just gardening. People do, teaching people how to do YouTube. Oh, by the way, uh, I do interview. I'm a kind of podcast also. I have interviewed Tom, and you can check my YouTube channel and look for Tom, handsome guy. And I today I'm going to interview someone. His name is Colin Michael. He's a YouTuber, has 155 k. He teaches people how to win YouTube and how to make money and this and that. So every Wednesday at 5 p.m. I interview someone. I've been doing that for 210 episodes since pandemic. But anyway, back to my concern about mixing everything is because I think I'm concerned about if I start another YouTube channel, it will take me forever to reach 1,000 subscribers. Right now, I have 5,000 whatever 400 subscribers. That took me more than 10 years to build, and it's a lot of work. So that is why I just pile everything in one place, but I definitely am going to taking advice of people, or you guys tell that I will definitely do shorts more, maybe do 2 shorts a day, because that will stimulate my audience and kick into my longer form, because my longer form interview is 1 hour and a half. And also I just made a short video yesterday. It's a 5 minutes video. I videoed an event 3 hours last Wednesday evening. Okay, it took me 12 hours to edit that sucker, and it takes so long. So anyway, yeah, I need to be better at shorts so I could just do it and then boom, Anyway, that's my problem. Thank you for listening.
Go ahead, Dr. Tachi. What do you got?
Go on, Tom. We got you, and then Dr. Tachi had something to add as well. Go on.
Yeah. I was telling Dr. Tachi, go ahead. Go ahead, Doctor. You're on. There you go.
Go ahead, and then I'll go after you. That's fine.
Well, I was just all I was going to say to Ching was just when you talk about like not wanting to create another YouTube channel, no big deal. YouTube has actually kind of already solved that problem for you. If you want to create different kinds of content on YouTube, just create playlists on your YouTube channel. And then people will be able to go to that YouTube channel, go like, oh, I want to watch more of Ching's series on teaching viola lessons. Like, boom, that's this playlist. I want to watch interviews. Boom, that's this playlist. Like, so they've got that problem solved for you on YouTube. You don't have to create another profile. I'm talking specifically about like social media and TikTok and things like that, where it's really easy to cross-pollinate and bring viewership from one profile onto the other, right? You can literally just copy your profile, change the name a little bit, and build another channel that way. So it's much easier. But yeah, for YouTube, don't just use playlists. That's an easy way around it. Tachi, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm going to co-sign on you with the playlist, because that's what I was going to say, that's something very easy, because I do many different things as well. And my thing was like, somebody was like, oh, you should create another YouTube channel. I said, I absolutely refuse, because I am, it's enough for me to run this one. So playlists are a great way to do that. And then you talked about wanting to do more shorts. That totally makes sense. You could definitely bring in all of the different things you're doing in addition to the playlists for the other longer form content. You can focus on the different types of things you do with shorts. And I think it's okay to do all those different types of things, as long as your audience knows that this is what you're going to do. So for example, for me, they know that I'm going to talk about media, tech, pop culture, but I'm also fashion and some other things. So they've come to expect that from me. And then what I've done is I've learned to marry them. So, okay, I have a t-shirt line and I'm also a reseller. So I'm not going to do a whole reselling, probably social media channel or whatever. But what I have done is started to talk about how to effectively do live streaming when you're live selling, how to effectively use lighting when you do video or pictures of your items, so that they know I'm a reseller now, because They've heard me talk about it, but I'm also relating something else I do, which is video and live streaming, to that. So that has worked for me. I release.
Can I add something?
Go ahead, my friend Kevin. What do you got?
Okay, I wanted to basically piggyback on what Tachi was saying. I think what's important is a connective tissue. Since your main focus is music, everything that touches music is something you can talk about. So you mentioned that you're filming like street musicians. You can be interviewing these street musicians. You mentioned something about movies or loving movies, reviewing movies. What about doing video essays on the use of music in some of your favorite films, and reviewing films that where the music is the biggest factor in the success of said film, not just musicals but music soundtracks. There's so many things you can touch on and have them all be connected. You want to do interviews with YouTubers, do interviews with YouTubers whose focus is on music. So if your connected tissue is always about music and your viewers are passionate about music, they know they're going to get great music content. Everything that touches music, you're going to be the place, their destination.
Kevin, I agree. Like Dr. Tachi says, I sign off on what Kevin's saying. Like we mentioned, is there a common thread? The common thread, I'm wondering, common thread could be it's what Ching likes. You know, if you at least the audience would know. But I agree with what Tom said on that. You have to establish trust. I'm sorry, I'm going to go to a sales thing. They trust, they buy from you. You know what I mean? So all of a sudden, there is nothing I hate more than, like me personally, somebody I follow, somebody I like. And then all of a sudden, I hear political leanings one way or another. Well, I came to follow you for this, or this. I was not expecting this, or all of a sudden, let's say I follow somebody and the next 10 pictures are pictures of their legs. Well, I followed them because I like their content. Now I'm creeped out because these 10 pictures are pictures of their legs. It wasn't what I signed on for. It wasn't what I trusted them for. And now uh, the next piece of content, I might leave. So Kevin, I agree with you. Hey, okay, let's continue. We got some more people to meet. Not the smartest guys in the room. Aaron, what do you got for us today? Ask a tip. Ask a tip. That was dumb. Share a tip. Ask a question. What do you got, my man?
If anybody wants to give me a tip, that'd be fun. I take 5s, 10s, 20s, 50s, any of that. But I have a
Boom.
really, yeah, I know, right? I have a very bad connection, it says too. So if I go in and out or I hit that matrix piece, let me know. I like what we're talking about today, the whole kick in the butt. I don't want to rebeat and hit that revolving door way too much and see what's happening with it and kind of beat it over and over and over again. But it all comes down to discipline and being honest to yourself. Just making sure that you're happy, understanding what's going on when it comes to buying microphones and doing things. Quality is good, but also what's overlooked is a good internet connection. I unfortunately couldn't save our episode for our pilot launch that we had just had for our own podcast this week. The internet, for some reason, for all four of us, we just couldn't get it to work. So we just made do. We rolled with the punches and we kept pushing through it. I mean, we weren't unhappy with it, but we weren't happy with it. We were kind of in the middle of the run. Things like that happen. And, you kind of just have to go with it. There's nothing you can do. We found it in the editing process, but none of us had the ability to change it or take care of it or redo an episode if that happens. So, I mean, plan for what you can. I always try to work backwards. That's a big thing. I know some people have mentioned David Goggins and different stuff that had happened in here. The reason I say that is you work backwards from what's there. You take the worst thing that could possibly happen and back channel yourself and constantly go back and look and see and break down the steps so that way hopefully you can prepare and be a little bit better. That's my ask there. And my question that I would say for people is, how is the YouTube Shorts thing working for most? I mean, I know Reels is big, TikTok is big. YouTube seems to have kind of jumped in a little late to the game here when it came to making those shorts, or at least that's what it feels like to me. Has anybody really seen any, I don't know, progress or traffic from those shorts itself? And if you have, has it been lucrative or has it been worth your time?
Aaron, I just started. We started off today talking about this, and I mentioned our buddy Hoot. He told me, he's like, why aren't your videos that you already made up as shorts? The shorts that you already made, why aren't they up? So I was like, yeah, that's pretty good question. And I'm like, well, I got 1,000 of them. So I put up 5 days just exploring, only exploring, right? My other ones, I got 850 followers, something like that on the page or something. So been putting up, I had a playlist. I do a show with my son called Discovering Inspiration. That was the main thing for the page. And then I'll offer some tips time to time. And me and Tom put the live streams up on there. So that's what I do with my YouTube page right now. It's kind of been in a holding pattern, over the pandemic. But I put the 5 shorts on, just that I had already made, that because of what Hoot said, 5 shorts, 5,000 views in a couple of days. Some were 100, one was 2,500, one was 1,500, 80, 100, whatever, but 2,500, something I had already made. And then I saw my count go up a couple on my page on the content that I really believed in. Those things that me and my son had made, those tips to the authors and stuff. So no, did I make money yet? No, because I'm under the 1,000 hours. But I will tell you, I'm under the 1,000 subscribers, and then you need so many hours per year. But I believe they catalog shorts and stuff different. But your watch time, I can see my watch time is really upped in that past 5 days. So that's my answer. Girish, I saw clicked on that. So Girish, if you wanted to add to that, go ahead and we'll keep ourselves rolling.
Yeah, so Aaron, I think you're right. I think YouTube Shorts came to the States much later. But what I've noticed is that YouTube Shorts came on the other side of the world first. So I think the trending on the state side came slow, but the traction for Shorts came quite high for me, even though I came late to the game, if that makes sense. So the viewings are good. The great traction on my Instagram is good. So when my turn comes, I'll explain that. But shorts are a good tool for certain people, and it does work, if that makes sense.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate the feedback, guys. It's all good stuff. And none of us are the smartest in the room, obviously. That's why we're here, right?
That's right, man. We're learning from everybody. Okay, we got Elsa down there, and if you want to jump up, please give us raise your hand, whatever. We'll call you up. Okay, Joyce, we got a couple more people to meet. Or do we really? Joyce, what do we got going on today? Any tips from our leader of cannabis or questions that you want to ask the room? Go ahead.
Good morning. Tom, I have hazel eyes too, so still connected. I do not like to do video. I talk about the podcast. I love the medium of audio. I like to be a voice in your head. But lately I have been making more videos of myself doing things, and that's getting me some more Instagram attention, I guess. I don't really understand most of this, how you get attention on social media. And I do hate social media. I feel like it's a time suck, but I know if I want to get my message out to the world, crushing the stigma around cannabis and caregivers, this is something I need to invest more of my creativity in. So I do like listening to you on these mornings. It makes me feel a little bit stupid because I don't feel like I know what I'm doing, but I just keep moving forward. So, and I had a question. What's a video essay? Someone had mentioned that. Anyone?
I heard that earlier too. I don't know. Video essay. What do you got?
All right, video essays are basically someone musing and going in depth on a particular topic. So, if you want to do a video essay on women in Star Wars, you go over the history of the female characters in Star Wars and talk about your thoughts about them, how they were used, and maybe compare them to other women and other archetypes in other kinds of media. So it's just focusing on a particular topic and talking about it using clips, using audio, using text to basically put a particular subject under a microscope.
That's very interesting. All right, so I do podcasts, I do blog, I am doing more of my reels on Instagram, so that definitely seems like something I could do. Thank you, Kevin. That's good.
Yeah,
I'm done.
go on, Kevin. That video essay thing seems interesting. And so then we're back around to you, even though Kevin, we're back around to you, even though I don't know how I messed this chart up so much here. But that, if you wanted to share a tip or ask a question, go ahead, my friend.
Oh, no, I basically just came on stage to comment on what Ching was saying because I thought that I particularly find there are two kinds of people when it comes to content on YouTube or anywhere else. You can basically just like someone and everything they do, you find them entertaining. So if they're talking about gardening, they're talking about the space program, you just find them fascinating and you follow them for them. But I don't feel like most people can instantly achieve that kind of relationship with an audience. The in is the topic I'm interested in. I'm interested in, say, film, and I come and start watching your your videos on film or your video essays on film, and the more I get to know you, the more I like you, and the more you share about who you are while talking about film, then I might want to get on board with your other interest. And as I get to know you as an audience member and find that we have more things in common with that gateway being film, then I'm willing to follow you with other kinds of content and go on other kinds of journey. Oh, wait, you also like food and cooking as well? So if you did a video about cooking and food, just an example, like what I was trying to say to Ching. Her focus is music. So say your focus is movies, film, and TV, but you wanted to basically you also love food and cooking. Well, what I would do is try to tie those two things together. So what kind of menu would you create for a binge night of watching old episodes of Friends? I feel like that's a good entry point. You would actually talk about the episodes you would probably want your audience to watch, and you would create a menu based on that. And you're marrying these two separate topics and bringing them together and bringing audiences who like cooking into the world of your video thoughts on TV and film, and you're bringing an audience who loves food into the fact that you're into the sphere of you talking about TV and film. So it's marrying those two things and introducing one audience to another.
Kevin, man,
Awesome.
yeah, that is awesome. And Kevin, I'll tell you, I think the Food Network recently, they've been all over this, and Guy Fieri is like really in this space, just so good at bringing people into the Food Network community. And then, like, I just watched a show it was one of his shows where he rebuilt a car on the Food Network. Guy is rebuilding a car. You know, he wanted to have two cars that looked alike. Well, how the hell does this fit into the Food Network? He married it with food at the garage. They brought food in. Him and his buddies ate it. Then he talked about where his car went. But I trust Guy, like we were saying before. Like, I like Guy. I trust Guy. I'm going to buy his tequila too, because that's how much I like him, right? Like, I went to his restaurant at the casino by me. I trust the guy. I'm going to give him a chance. So the things that he puts out, like his next thing is they have this tournament of champions on Food Network every year. Well, they're touching on March Madness a little. I love March Madness. I told you I love Guy. And now he basically introduces each of these people, gives them his stamp of approval, and then you'll see they're all over Food Network on a million other shows, getting their own shows. And it is exactly what Kevin's saying. It's that stamp of approval. It allows him to go and do these other things. And then they just keep on. It's like a developmental bank, all with Guy's stamp of approval on it. Who knew there was so much depth to the thought process behind Food Network? This is why my wife hates watching shows with me, because I go into these diatribes about stuff. Ching, go on.
Oh, I just wanted to make comment on Kevin's comment. It's really, yeah, wonderful. Yeah, you make me think differently, and just kind of branching out to what we do, just not one thing. Many of us do more than one thing in life, and could be intertwined together. And actually, in the last, I would say, 15 years, I am more focused on actually making films. And I create, like, I don't know, I have 800 videos on my channel. So music is never gonna die. I actually make more money making teaching music than making film, because film is random. Sometimes I have a project, sometimes I do it for love, and a lot of time I do it just for my own love. But even when you make a film, like I did this 90-minute documentary, and with no backers, just myself, and but it reached to the audience, reached to the level is not what I expected, like it's on Tubi right now. So, and I kind of am famous now by making a deep feature documentary using just iPhone 11. So that's another thing. But all of this happened was not my planning. I didn't think I was going to make one. I didn't think I want to be known as this genre. It's all happened gradually. On the other hand, I was just Googling Dominick. Oh my God. Dominick, I tried to find your YouTube channel. I couldn't really know which one is which. And you have so many channels. It's wonderful. And check him out. He is so fucking handsome. That's it. That's all I want to say.
Yes, first person. No, second. The first person that said that was my mother, and the second person is now Ching. So, day made. Okay. No, channel on YouTube's Motivation Champs. Most of the stuff is under Motivation Champs. I do a TV show for Armstrong Cable, and they have their own channel. Girish,
Okay.
man.
Okay.
Thank you, Ching.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're almost there. You're almost there. You're 845 subscribers. People just subscribe him, so let him reach
I
1,000.
had a banana at one point a couple years ago. The banana was 1,000, and I blew it somehow. So all of a sudden, maybe I posted something that people didn't like, trust, or maybe it was a false banana, but I lost it. That means 1,000 subscribers. But I got to get that watch time up. So anyway, Girish, what do you got for us, man? Close us out, and then we're gonna go to the man everybody loves, our boy Tom, and he'll take us home. But Girish, what are your thoughts?
Well, thanks again, Dominic and Tom, for bringing me up here. And Tom was definitely a guest of mine last season, so I had a great time with him. So thanks. When it comes to podcasting, right? There are many creative ways to do it, right? And this season, which is season 3, I launched 4 podcasts. So that does not mean that I'm going to have 4 different channels for my YouTube. I'm going to have different playlists for those 4 different podcasts. Because what's going to happen is, if Tom is going to follow me on one channel, do you really think Tom is going to follow the other channels or not? Probably not, right? And then on top of that, the trust factor also comes in play too. So how long does it take for Tom to trust me to go to the other channel? He trusted me to go to one channel. So that's one thing. So the other thing, what Tom and I think Dominic and someone else mentioned about the algorithms, there's no such algorithm out there in the world. You just have to experiment. What I did recently, yesterday was a crazy Tuesday day for me, which means that whatever we say, I say the opposite. You say good morning, I say good evening, right? So someone says, "How are you?" And I'm like, "Okay, goodbye," right? So the same concept, I took that for my podcasting. Like, for example, if you're on a mic and you're telling them that you need to use a certain mic, oh, wait a second, my mic is not even connected. That's why it's not working. People resonated with that small video and that small reel, because it looks like people, they appreciate the mistakes that we make along the way to make it perfect. So it's okay to make those small reels and shorts. I think that's the only way to go. That's all I got. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm just talking.
That's all right, man. We don't mind that. We get some nuggets in there, man. You dig through and you're like, holy shit, that was a good one. So okay, Girish, thanks, man. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out 10 minutes, 5 minutes. We appreciate you. Tom, did I give you enough time to think of something smart to say? I bought you some time. There you go, man.
I'm gonna do my best. I am, as I started out by saying, I was burning the midnight oil last night. I was out late networking with a bunch of old friends from my days in TV and entertainment in New York, and I literally got home at 2:00 in the morning. So not an exaggeration. I was out, which is very late for me these days. So I got like less than 4 hours of sleep. I've already gone out for a run this morning. The batteries are running low, but I think I've come up with something. So Girish was talking about, like, will people jump to another channel to follow you for different content? And conversations that we've had throughout the room today have kind of centered around this idea of, like, what will people do? How should you figure out, like, should you use Reels? Should you put this content here? Should you put that content there? And I think if you want to take a step further back, really the question you should be asking is, who are you making the content for? Right? And the answer should never be you. Right? The content should always be for the audience. So who are you making the content for? Who is the audience? Who are the people that you're making this content for? Right? They're not numbers on a view counter. They're not likes on the video. They're not subscribers. They're not followers. They're human beings. So who are the human beings? Who are the people that you're making this content for? And how can you get it to them? That's the question you should be asking. That should inform where you put your content, and more broadly, what content you produce and create, right? So how do you deliver? What value are you creating for your audience? What value are you creating for the people that you want to communicate with? And then how do you deliver that value to them? Those are the questions I think you should ask. And then I think you have to let those answers show you where you should be putting your content and how you should be putting your content out. And like I said before, forget about the algorithms. Stop trying to crack that code. It's all a wasted effort. So forget about the algorithms. Forget about trying to crack that code. Forget about any of it. Just create content that delivers value to the people that you want to develop relationships with. Period. End of story. Rant over. Room done. That's it for today. Thanks so much for coming through the room today. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Dr. Tachi, great to have you here again. I know you've been busy, and I want you to know you've been missed here, and love seeing you and appreciate every time you co-sign on anything I say. So thank you. But thank you more broadly for everyone being here. Kevin, thank you for your input today. Ching, thank you for your questions. Aaron and Girish, thank you guys for being here and up on stage and participating in the conversation. We appreciate you guys. We wouldn't do this room or have this space without you. So thank you very much. And we will see you next Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. for Not the Smartest Guys in the Room. All right, guys. Everybody have a good one. Have a good rest of your week. Love you. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.